We live on one income. My family lives on my income. And honestly, that surprises a lot of people. They're surprised that anyone can actually live on one income anymore. And they ask how that's even possible. Well, I'd like to share with you how we do it and why we chose the lifestyle that we live and chose to live on one income. You see, it's not about all the money. It's about the lifestyle that we wanted. And for me, for my family, that lifestyle meant doing life together, putting our time and effort where it mattered most, not into being separated all the time with school, work, and all the other things that come along with it, but being intentional and living life on purpose. In this video, I would like to share with you the good parts, the hard parts, and why, even though it's not always easy, I still wouldn't trade this for anything else. So when my son was born, I worked, and my wife actually worked as well. And we knew we wanted to be able to invest in our families. So before we had kids, I worked and my wife worked, and we both worked pretty similar hours. So it really wasn't that big a deal that we both worked because we were both at work at approximately the same time. So anytime when we weren't at work, we were both usually home or together at the same time. So we weren't really sacrificing time for each other at that point. So that worked for us. But when we had our son, things started to change. We wanted to build a family and spend time together as a family. And this really meant taking a hard look at what that looked like. For one, we didn't want our son to be raised by daycare. We wanted our son to be raised by us, primarily by my wife, who decided to not work anymore so that she could be a full-time mother. And when we really looked at the finances of it, I was quite shocked to figure out that by the time you pay for daycare and other things, and the cost to travel to work, the costs involved with work, just all the costs involved, my wife's salary would have been pretty much non-existent anyway, so she would have been working ultimately to pay for daycare and pay for the ability to work. So the numbers also sort of don't add up to have two working spouses anyway. I know an argument could be made for, well, what happens when the kids go back to school or the kids grow up and your wife had left the workforce for years? Wouldn't it be hard for her to find a job again? Maybe, but from people that I've talked to who have actually done this, instead of just assuming, I've actually talked to people who have done this. They said really it wasn't that hard to find a job again because most employers understand that gap. On their resume, they just simply wrote that they were a stay-at-home mom during that period of time, whether it was 1 year, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. The people that I talked to, it really didn't matter how long the gap was because it was very much understood why they took that time off. The other thing is we realized after our kids were grown, we probably wouldn't need her to work anymore anyway. So why even think about that to some degree? And then we also decided it was really important to not only be there for our kids, but we also decided to homeschool, which made it even more important that my wife stay home so that she could lead the homeschooling with my children. Now, yes, there have been times where money's been tight, but you know what? When I worked a regular job and she worked a regular job, there were times when money was tight. Unexpected bills happen, cars break down, whatever comes along. I mean, there are times, whether both of you are working or not, that times will get tight. It happens. But God has always provided for us, and we've never had a problem, really, with the idea of being a single income household. Yeah, there may be a few luxuries that we don't get to have, but the luxury that we do have far outweighs the physical luxuries that we could have had. The luxuries that we have is time together as a family, time to enjoy as a family. The relationship that I have with my family is so different from the relationship that I see of so many other people. The relationship my wife has with my kids, the the time that we can do whatever we want, when we want, and enjoy that time together is worth far more than any second paycheck could bring to us. We so often believe that really both spouses have to work, both parents have to work. And I don't know why we buy into this narrative all the time. In the 50s, it was normal for a spouse to stay at home, maybe even the 60s. I may have times off slightly here. But in the 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, I think even into the 1980s, it was very normal for one spouse to work and one to stay home. You know, besides having the time available for kids and family and to enjoy time together, another advantage of a spouse staying home is some of those chores can be done during the day so that we don't have to spend all our weekends and all of the time that I'm not working doing chores. So yes, my wife does do most of the cooking and cleaning and laundry, but now on the weekends we're not saddled with having to do all of those chores. I hear a fire truck coming. Life moves so fast. Time just seems to disappear, especially when we're not living life on purpose. We let life just happen, both working a full-time job, having kids, the kids grow up, and before you know it, the kids are grown. I mean, my kids have grown up so amazingly fast. My wife and I have been married over 20 years. I don't even know where those 20 years went. And we worked very hard at living on purpose, and still the time went by fast. I can't imagine what it would have been like if my wife worked, I worked, and the kids were off all doing their own thing. We'd never see each other. It would never happen. We would all feel like completely different people who merely slept in the same house. That's not living life on purpose, and that's not investing in my family. My number one calling, my number one ministry, your number one calling, your number one ministry is to your family. How can you sacrifice your family for another paycheck? To me, that just doesn't make sense. How can you sacrifice all of that time for another paycheck? Time is something that is fleeting. We can't get more time. We can get more money. We can get more stuff, but we cannot get more time. So why just give it away like that? Why not be very purposeful with it? Purposeful with your family, purposeful with the ones you love and the things that matter to you. I also found that 2 paychecks wouldn't equal more peace. More peace would be that love and care and time with my family and with my wife. 2 paychecks is just money. And yes, everybody says more money would be great, but we've always had enough money. 2 paychecks doesn't really create that. What 2 paychecks does is, yes, it would create more money, but it would probably also mean more expense. So ultimately, it wouldn't really mean more margin, because typically you just find a way to spend more money and have actually less margin. So what we needed to do is learn how to live on 1 paycheck. We needed to budget living on 1 paycheck, and we are able to make that work. I would encourage you to take a look at your budget and see how you might be able to make that work so that you can have the time, energy, and space that you need for what matters to you. So there's also times like when a car breaks down that we didn't quite budget for that kind of expense. The money just seems to happen. It's really hard. Get a $1,000 repair bill that we weren't planning for, and to look at it and like, man, how's this gonna work out? But then it does. So, I mean, that's hard, and yeah, we don't take luxury vacations, we take vacations we enjoy. But vacations we enjoy are so much better than a 1 week or 2 week luxury vacation that we get to go on, but then dread coming back to our busy, separated lives again. I'd much rather have our less expensive, more enjoyable time together as a family on vacation than dread the coming back from vacation. I'd much rather have all this time with my family all the time so that vacation's not the only time I get to spend with my family. So the drawbacks, I just don't really see them. I just see that our life is slightly different than somebody who may have 2 incomes. But it's so much more enjoyable and so much more valuable, and we live so much more on purpose instead of letting life just happen. So practically, yes, we've had to make sure that we spend wisely with the 1 income we have. we've had to set our priorities so that we know what's important to us. And that goes for spending too. Like when unexpected bills come up, where's our priority? What do we do? How do we handle that? But with our time, we've also set priorities. Even though we have more time than maybe two working spouses may have, we're very intentional with our time because time is so finite. You only get so much of it. And we've decided to very purposefully live as a family and very purposefully spend our time. We have learned to focus on what adds value, not just more noise. Every dollar, every hour, every choice, we try to make it line up with what matters most to us, what's important to us, what fits our purpose, what fits our desires. Living on one income has taught us that freedom isn't found in having more. Freedom is found in needing less. Freedom is found in having more margin in life, not more money in paychecks. If you've ever wondered if a single income life is worth the sacrifices you may have to make for it, I can tell you 100% for sure, yes, it is. Not because it's easier, because it is so much fuller than our life would be if we had two paychecks. I am all for the fuller life. Don't just chase the dream, live it one intentional day at a time. Live life on purpose. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.